Good afternoon and welcome to the May 17th, 2021 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Brian Dobb.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, board members, thank you for the opportunity that's presented to folks like myself to be able to pray over you, over our community on behalf of those in law enforcement and all of those that are involved in leading our community. And so I want to say thank you on behalf of my church, on behalf of my own family, on behalf of our community for what you do, the time that you put in and day out. Let me pray for you if I could, please. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity we have to be here in this place once again. God, I thank you for each one of these folks that are here this morning or this afternoon, and I pray that you will bless them in a very special way. God, that you will encourage them. We ask for your wisdom upon them. We ask for your good health to be poured into their lives and into that of their families. God, we pray for our law enforcement and all of our service personnel, God, that you will strengthen and encourage them for the task that they have at their hands. Lord, we ask that you will bless in this meeting, that everything will be done to better our community for the whole, and that your name will be honored and glorified in all. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
And God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone. If you would please remember to turn your ringers off of your cell phones, and we will begin with roll call.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Present.
David Nutty. Jim Barrett.
Here.
Okay, everyone has the minutes for the May 3rd, 2021 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to that?
Also, there's an executive session as well,
I did not see that.
right here.
Make a motion to
Oh,
accept the
and the executive, sorry, let me redo that.
Okay.
I missed that. I didn't see it in my notes. We have the minutes from the May 3rd, 2021 regular meeting and the executive session. Say that 3 times real fast. Are there any additions or corrections to those?
I'll
If
make a
not,
motion to accept the minutes.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Good, motion carried. Move on down to new business. We have the outcome of the executive session, which was an employee grievance hearing. We had the meeting, and now we will do a roll call vote for that hearing.
David Nutty. I'm sorry. Jim Barrett.
Question. We have a roll call. Oh, okay.
Roll call vote on. What? I'm sorry.
Present.
You need to.
Do you need a motion on what happened in the outcome?
No, we can't discuss that because it's an employee hearing. We're taking we already have the motion. We have to take a roll call vote on whether to approve or deny the grievance.
Okay.
So it'd be a yes to approve the grievance or a no to deny the grievance.
No.
Brian Dobb.
No.
Becky Gibson.
No.
Okay, so the grievance has been denied. So we have 3, and I guess we don't say 3-0 because he was not here, so. Okay, on to item B. Rosemary, you want to talk about this?
Yes, the Fayette County School Corporation will be handing out meals on a mobile route beginning every Monday, starting June 7th through July 26th. Anyone 18 and under can come in to the van at the different sites. One of them would like to do this in the courthouse parking lot for the first location for them to come to, and they'll receive 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches.
It's beginning June 1st. How long is,
June 7th, I'm sorry.
it's beginning June 7th or till June 7th?
They
Just for 1 week.
start June 7th and go through July 26th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Now we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. May Barrett requesting permission to conduct a boot drive on July 3rd and December 4th for the Children's Christmas Outreach.
Yes, thank you. I'm here representing Fonda Bishop Ministries. It's our Christmas in the Park. This will be our 14th one. And the boot drives help us tremendously, and we appreciate the opportunity to get to come and ask permission to have these boot drives. And if you have any questions about what we do, I would be glad to answer them.
My only question is, what locations are you using?
Central, over by the fire station, and 24th, is it 24th and Grand?
All three locations, 24th,
Yes, yes.
24th and Grand, 6th and Grand, and 6th and Central.
Yes.
Will Sixth and Central be open at that time?
April, May, yes, should be. We might have to, with construction, we should be past that, but if we're not past construction, one locations might not be able to be used.
All right.
Yeah, 6th and Central.
I'll make a motion to accept Mrs. Barrett's request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Just stay
very
in
much.
contact with us on, close to the July 3rd one.
Yes, we will.
Just because we're not sure what construction will be. It
Yes, we will.
could be
take-
past it, we're not for
All
sure.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item D, approval of the contract for community crossing resurfacing program with Butler, Fairman, and Seaford. Everyone has that in their package, their packets. Any questions on that? This is for the community crossing, so we have to do the pre-engineering, so we can get a cost on what we think the cost is gonna be, so we can slug streets. We drove around, and they assess them, by the way, from the Pacer grant. It's on the website. All the streets are assessed by rankings, so you can see the rankings there as well.
In order to qualify for the Community Crossings matching program, you have to have a PACER program in place, and that is a program that grades or judges the quality of the roads. So that has to be updated every 2 years to be eligible for the Community Crossing matching
That's what the
grant.
number over here where it says Pacer, below it means it's the ranking.
Motion to approve the request?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, item E, approval to recommend additional handicap parking only sign at 1826 Vermont Avenue. This is a sent to City Council.
Good afternoon. We have a letter from a doctor requesting disabled parking in front of the residence that you were given. Any questions on that?
Motion to approve the request?
Second.
Have a motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item F, approval of resolution 2021-06, approval of the fire department contract. I think everyone's been updated on that and the results of the grievance hearing. Any other thoughts?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. All right, move on down to department matters. Mr. Coulter with utilities.
First thing, you've got a quote for replacing the shields down at the transfer station. Anthony can answer any questions if you have any about that.
This is the shield that goes up to the
Right, that covers
trailer.
the-
That's what he means
from
by
the
shield.
building to the trailer. Right.
Motion to approve the request?
Before we approve that, is there a way that he could actually look at that? Have you looked at that bollard on the side of that building? Can he re-weld that bollard while he's there?
You mean these guys?
Steve Lee? Is that who?
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah,
Probably could.
okay.
We have a motion to accept the shield replacement quote.
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on down to department reports. Brad, you're already up there. Why don't you go ahead and start?
I have something else in
Oh.
the department matters too, anyway.
Okay.
I sent out to everybody a copy of the engineering agreement from Strand. Oh, it pertains to the project that I reported to you about last week with the headworks. And looking, we have an extra week in between the meetings just to keep this thing on schedule and keep it moving. I hope that you would approve that at this meeting. Otherwise, we have to stop and wait. And we just don't have that kind of time. I know that amount of money looks like a lot, but in the full relationship of what the engineering on this $16 million project's gonna cost, that's probably about 10% of it, or maybe just a little more than 10% of it. We'll probably spend $1 million in engineering in that project altogether. So, just to keep us on time, what this is for the PER portion of the project, which over the next 3 or 4 months will get everything to a stage where we can be considered for either stimulus or infrastructure financing. And some of this work has already been done based on what we talked about last week. They had to turn in the application for the IFA on May 1st. So it's kind of already in the works, but this is the price tag on the PER part.
Questions for Brad?
You sent us a draft. Do you have the original that needs to be signed?
No, this was all we had. I'll have to get the other copy to be signed. This is all I had, was the draft copy for now.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. McQuarrie.
All right, another busy month. Overtime, it appears that it was up for last month, however, it was a 3-pay month, so that kind of distorts the figure a little bit. Traffic stops were back up, arrests were up. Included with the numbers that you guys were given this time around, we started adding some of our different drug classification ones that we've got in that chart, so you can see what's going on in the city, see where that's at. We did put in a lot of training last month. We had a little over 300 hours of training on firearms, building entries, among those. So we're busy, a lot of things going on. We're trying to keep up with the training, trying to stay ahead of the game. Any questions on that?
Go ahead and read off some of these just so people at home can hear what the numbers are as well.
Law reports last month, we had 1,053. Accidents, non-injury 41, did have 1 fatal accident, 4 injury accidents, 182 traffic stops, 118 arrests made. There's several possession charges, looks like around 50 or so possession of paraphernalia and drug charges in that list as well.
That's a lot for a month.
That is a lot, but that's typical of where we're usually at. And we'll keep presenting those numbers that way you guys can see what's going on.
Mike, what hit them overtime so hard? I know you said you had a lot of stuff, but that's twice as much as last month.
It was a 3-pay month, so there's a little extra showing for that. And then we had a couple of investigations for our detectives that brought that out. And other than that, it was just a cycle of personal day usage and with vacation starting up.
Good.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pause, you out there, sir?
Hello, for the month of April, we had 10 hours, 47 minutes of meeting production, 10 hours and 4 minutes of original production. And we are continuing with our cooperation with the library to produce programming live every week. And we also have a new intern who's with us here today, Cooper Griffin. He'll be working with us over the summer, and part of what he'll be doing is creating some short videos about city operations. So we'll get with you later, the different department heads.
I gotta work with Cooper?
I know.
Sorry. If you don't, he dates my daughter, so I got me. Extra mean to him.
So any questions? About Channel 3, not Cooper.
Sorry, Cooper.
So good luck, Cooper.
He's never gonna come back. I just embarrassed him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Mr. Harden.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Have a copy of my report. I threw a couple other things in here this month, more just as an FYI than anything. Still trying to recruit for 2 open paramedic positions. I also put a copy of an ad that has went around on Indeed, on Facebook, on sponsored Facebook, on 2 or 3 different sites for Indiana jobs for EMS. It is also on the Department of Homeland Security website as well. They have a page devoted to jobs, job openings, and so forth and so on. Still waiting on the outcome of the AFG grant, which is actually good because the longer you stay in the rodeo, the better off you are. And by this time last year, we've long been since kicked out. So the longer we stay in, that's good. And then also on the last page, just kind of FYI type of thing, I put the current CAD system, computer-aided dispatch system, goes back to 1995. So I started digging through a bunch of numbers one day, I don't know why, and you can see the average calls per day from 1995 was 5.6 calls per day, or 12.02 for 2020, not full 2021 so far. That's an average. I worked Saturday, covering some open time, and I think we ended the day at 23 calls, 7 of which were transports out of town. They went to Richmond, Rushville, etc. So those take a significant amount of time. So that's a busy day for us. No matter how you shake it, it's a busy day for us. Anybody have any questions on that? I know I gave you an additional page, and I'll kind of speak to that. So first, it's kind of rare that we get kind of follow-up on our patients, especially any follow-up that I can semi-share, and I'm not going to mention any names or anything. But this was actually a call that happened yesterday, and this was shared with us, and if you look about 3/4 of the way down, it does give a nice little shout out to our guys. We actually had 2 different crews out there because of how it was dispatched and the severity of the call. So we did respond to 2 crews for hands. So that was kind of nice, and it looks like this is going to have a positive outcome. The crew, Mike McQuinley, Devin Munson, Charlie Catt, and Mark Baker. At the top there, they were the ones that were on the call. And the other nice thing is that just 2 weeks ago we finished a PHTLS, which is Pre-Hospital Trauma Life Support. It's an internationally recognized course. It's 2 days. It was taught by StatFlight as part of their community outreach for us. And we do that course about every 2 to 3 years. And it does have a lot of information. It's all based on trauma. There's no medical thing mentioned. It's all trauma, injuries, prevention, treatment, case studies, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of neat that, we have a call that fits so nicely into what we just trained for 2 weeks ago. So that was kind of rare that that works out like that sometimes. So I wanted to share that. The second page is, this is EMS week. And so I just kind of wanted to give a little blurb there about Fayette County EMS specifically. It's a front and back. This is our 65th year. We actually predate the formation of EMS either on a national or a state level. Fayette County EMS was formed before any higher up government did anything. You can see in 1966 is actually the start of it with a paper that was presented to President Johnson, and it wasn't enacted in Indiana until 1974, but 1956 we were ahead of the curve. We were way ahead of the curve. So I find that very interesting, and kind of wanted to bring that to your attention. Does anyone have any questions on anything overall?
Clint, I do, just on the paramedic side, is there any facility to say like an Ivy Tech or any kind of schooling facility that would have recruits that we might be able to pull from? Or, I mean, I know it's a shortage on the statewide, but
Yeah.
we can't lose, if we lose another paramedic, we might be looking at a
So
different situation.
here is the way that normally goes is most of the paramedics come out of programs that are hospital-based because of the clinical requirements. The problem with hospital-based programs are that you are not eligible for student loans, grants, all the normal stuff that someone would have when they went to college. So it's up to between $7,000 and $8,000. So most people that come out of those programs are working for someone who has paid for it. They are already spoken for, they have contracts. So yeah, trying to recruit out of the classes is very, very difficult. My current employee who's in a program, I think out of like 17, only one is paying for it themselves. Everything else is paid for by a department. So you can't really recruit out of that because they're in contracts that say, hey, if you don't, if you leave us, you're going to have to pay that money back. So, so recruiting out of programs is really difficult to do. That's one of the problems. I'd like to see, and I've got a bunch more information. If anybody wants it, I'm more than happy to send it to you. That I'd like to see more of this go to like the Ivy Tech side. Ivy Tech does have some programs in the state. Unfortunately, none are close to us. So that's something I would like to see transpire as that come closer to us. Maybe where Richmond is something, or even Muncie, but all of them are 2+ hours away. So those would be the ones where you could recruit from, but those just aren't close to us. And people are going to try to tend to stay close to home if they can. Especially with the number of jobs out there, you don't have to, used to, maybe you'd have to move, but anymore, there's so many jobs posted that you pick something close to home, so it's an employee market, not an employer's market right now, unfortunately. Long rambling answer to a very short question, I'm sorry.
Well, that's just something we're gonna have to think of. I mean, if we're spending $4,000 or $5,000 a month on overtime, and if it takes that to be able to maybe recruit and be able to get another employee in, I mean.
We have one person in medical school right now that is being paid for by the department. I have a couple of others who have expressed interest. I've talked to the mayor about making sure that if someone is interested, that we will find a way to get them hired, and we will find a way to finance that. So it's just finding the right person. Not everyone wants to do it. Not everyone can do it. It's it's a very big time commitment for someone to do that, and that you really have to be driven. Scott right now, when he gets a day off in a 2-week period, he's happy. Between work and clinicals and the school itself and all the things that go associated with school. So it's not just the class time, it's all the other things that add into that you have to do. So it's a big time commitment. It takes a while to find the right person that wants to do it, frankly. In my course 20 years ago, we lost 4 people. One was due to grades, one was due to personal reasons, and 2 were due to family because they were gone so much. And that it was destroying their family life. So, and that's not uncommon. So it is a big burden to do. It's a big undertaking for someone.
There are a lot of discussions behind the scenes as well, trying to get something closer to, I can't say who or what, but we're working diligently on getting some sort of training closer to here because it is difficult. And the thing is, and we've been saying this from the beginning, this is a statewide problem, nationwide problem actually. So we're not the only ones facing this. We just got to be creative and find better solutions to attract and draw, which is, like you said, it's employees market is difficult, but training is really the issue. It's very difficult to get that training because there's just nothing close. So we've been working, trying to make those contacts.
Scott goes to St. Vincent's, so it's an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half drive every time he goes up. But, sometimes just because of the way they want you to do it, he has to go up for, you know, a 2-hour specialized training or a 2-hour meeting, he's driving, you know, he's spending more time on the road than he is up there for whatever he's supposed to be there for, but it's required for the course. So there's just a lot of time commitment to it, so.
We're actively pursuing that, very actively pursuing that.
All right. What else?
A lot
Thank you
of-
very much.
A lot of the pieces of the puzzle have to come together for something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces.
Yes, there is a lot of pieces.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Clint.
you.
Catherine?
Hi, everybody. I just want to highlight some things from our monthly report this time. At Roberts Park, the pool's getting ready to open. It opens on May 29th. I also wanted to address a couple things that we've heard some grumbling about in case you guys hear those things as well. At the 28th Street entrance, that column was knocked down several weeks ago by a driver. The holdup on that is just getting the bids from the contractors. We are working with insurance on it. We haven't forgotten about it. Another thing is the mulch. Why isn't there any mulch at Kittyland Playground? That's because the playground border on the west side is, which is one of the long sides, is leaning over very badly. And I want to get that fixed before we dump a bunch of mulch in there that's very expensive and then we can't fix it. So it's just a matter of finding the time, seeing if we can do that ourselves. It's probably going to be more involved than anybody would like, but I want to fix that before we put mulch over there. Another thing that you're probably going, well, you may hear about, is we are no longer going to allow parking by the park pool in that teardrop grass area where everyone likes to pull under those trees for shade. The reason for that is because disc golf now has a basket there. It's actually in the ordinance that you're not really supposed to park on the grass at all, but now there is a disc basket there, there's a tee pad there, and it's too much of a risk for people to be parking there. So there are already posts up all the way around that area, and then we're going to do wire cable through the posts. People have already knocked 3 posts down in protest of this change, so we are moving ahead with it though, so they won't be able to park in there. And that's the reason why, in case you hear anything. The next thing, over at 2nd Street Park, I did give you guys some renderings of where we stand right now. We are working with Rundle Ernstberger Associates, or REA. We have finally come to a place with that company where we've finally gotten the budget where I would like it to be, and the design where it meets what the community feedback supported. So this is very rough, what you're looking at, but it does give you some good description of what's going to be there. That's the page that says Concept 3. I guess they all say that. It's the one that looks like this. So this here is actually a walking track. This is a shelter. This is nature style play equipment. And then this is actually a mound here. And then this thing that looks like a rectangle is a hill slide. So it's a slide that's actually built into the hill. You can see the budget breakdown. They've given us, it says alternatives because there's lots of things that we can add and subtract from this budget. But if we are successful with the grant we applied to, I think you guys all got a link to our presentation, we would come in under that grant amount. So that would fit really well. And then the other page I gave you just kind of gives you some examples of what we're talking about when we say nature play. So you can see it utilizes lots of timbers. It's just really different. I like this because it's going to make 2nd Street, it's not just going to be another playground. It's going to give you a reason to go to 2nd Street if you live here. And then if you come in on the train or you come in from that direction, you might see it and say, that's really different. I want to stop there and see what's going on. So I'm really excited about it. I think it gives us something to look forward to. And we should know next Friday if we've been successful with that program. If not, we're going to continue with our plans to apply to tourism in January. Down at Babe Ruth, we did have opening day. I thought it went really well. Dennis Ellis and I put on our first parade and nobody got run over and we all made it down the hill, so I was happy. I think we had a really good turnout. We did have our first movie in the park that night. We had, I'd say, maybe 50 people that came. It was a little chilly, but the next movie in the park is going to be the first Friday in June. I think that's June 4th. It's going to be An American Tale. Our sponsor is the Public Library, and they are hosting a summer series called Tales and Tales, like book tales and animal tales. So we thought that was a good fit for their sponsorship. And that will be at Roberts Park. The next thing I wanted to tell you about the trail, we do have the fencing. So at Roberts Park, on the east side of the horse track, we will be opening that up to walkers because we now have the fences installed around the wells that had prevented that in the past. We got that money thanks to a grant from Indiana Greenways. So the fences are done, and now we're ready to do some signage. We need signs back there so people don't get lost when they get back in the woods. We need some sort of trailhead so people know where to park, where to walk. So I plan to ask the Community Foundation for maybe $1,500 to help fund those signs. So I wanted to get your permission to go ahead and pursue that grant when we get ready. There's no deadline, it's just open-ended.
I move that we approve the request for your grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. When are you gonna do that? Is that quickly or what's the time frame? Do you know what they're gonna?
I think
Is there a deadline?
I think Alexander just reviews them.
Okay, so it's open.
Yeah, it's just open. There's no deadline to it.
Okay.
Catherine, I have a question on the trailhead. How would they be parking along talk about that old gravel road that goes down along the river?
Well, I'm thinking the trailhead's going to go over near where the barns are. So you would actually, where the big gate is for vehicles, I want to put in a people gate because we may even just put posts. We may take that gate down and just put posts up so people can't drive back there. We need to figure that out because we have a lot of trouble with people trying to do a racetrack with their cars. But I'm thinking in that area and then maybe doing the parking on the west side. But we have to figure that out. We may get a kiosk from the county that's at the courthouse now, we may not. So we were going to use that as our trailhead so we didn't have to build or buy anything. But yeah, it's not going to be elaborate, but maybe a bike rack and a kiosk and some parking and.
Obviously, I'm sure you've coordinated with Jim Lakes on the shooting range down there. That'd be
Yeah,
my biggest concern.
Oh,
the
yeah,
parking side,
yeah.
so.
I've actually been back there walking while people are shooting, and it's loud, but it's safe. He said that it's not going to travel that far. So, but yeah, we did speak to him. Was there any other questions on the trail? Another thing that we're going to be updating is Cleo Fountain. We have an endowment. Well, we don't. We get an endowment payout from the Community Foundation. Father Mazzola, who passed away a few years ago, left money to support the fountain. So that is how we are paying for this project. We just need to kind of update that area and, kind of make it look nicer. So I did give you the drawing from Neatly Trimmed Landscape. That's the plan for going around the fountain at this point. And then we will probably tackle that circle garden in the near future as well. The last thing I wanted to mention was, you're probably tired of hearing about my billboards, but I think they're awesome. We have our last two that are up. There's one for summer camp that's coming into Connersville, on 44, like if you're coming from Liberty to Connersville, you can see it promoting summer camp. These are all local kids too. Their parents are really excited to see them on a billboard. And the other one is the pool. And this is coming from Everton into town. And actually nobody bought my other one yet, so I have two coming from Everton into town. So just getting the park out there, letting the surrounding community know we're here and what we have to offer, so. That's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief Jones?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
We'll start off with the overtime. The overtime was up a little bit for the month of April, but like the other department said, it was a 3-pay month, so it's a little bit deceiving. Is there any questions on overtime before we move to the monthly report? In April, we had 121 runs. It was down a little bit from the previous months. As you can see in the graph, 79% EMS, 21% fire. And then the list of the different categories of runs that we had. Training for the month of April was down a little bit, but April is our spring cleaning month, so the last couple of weeks of April, we do a lot of spring cleaning in the stations. Next meeting, I plan on bringing some quotes to try to get our floors replaced. Station 1's floors are probably over 50 years old, and they're the old strip and wax floors, and it's gotten to the point where we've about stripped the surface off of them. So I did get some quotes from a couple of the flooring places here in town, and I'll bring those quotes to the next meeting to get your guys' approval for that. So. And then the last page, had 3 inspections for the month of April. Like we said, we were busy doing some other things, so inspections were down just a little bit for the month of April also. But really, that's about all I got today. Any questions on any of that? No?
No. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Mr. Clover, or Mike, who's doing the first?
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
April report. Attached is the my revenue disbursements for April. Water was a little high. We had a couple unordinary claims, one for 2590T for new VFD controls for Gray Road Booster Station, was hit by lightning. And also a $5,400 Midwestern engineering for a Woodside Water Tower study. That's kind of exception to our typical claims. Also, the sewer department, there's a $4,800 claim for CEI for updating our monitoring system on our lift stations, and a $4,400 claim to Strand Engineering for phosphorus removal study. Some are outstanding claims, that's a little higher than normal. Overtime was $4,074. 22,205 of that was scheduled overtime. Projects, the water main project up on 10th Street is going pretty well. Started 10th and Oak and somewhere around Burton Street. I think right now they're around Howland Street intersection, so it's going along pretty well. And when that is completed, they will go to EB Drive and start that water main replacement. The generator project at the wastewater treatment plant. Pretty much all the wiring, the pad is poured. Right now, we're just waiting for the generator to arrive, and I'm not for sure what that date is, but it's going, it's still going in a timely manner. We also received our second delivery of 500 water meters for our water meter replacement program. We're trying to get all of our meters replaced, but can't really afford 6,000 meters at once. So we will be installing them as soon as possible, probably starting this week. And when those 500 are completed, we'll order another 500. Lastly, on these claims, we bought a new lateral camera for the sewer department. So there's like a $3,800 claim for that on your docket. And there's also a $2,200 claim from Flack Industry. And what that is, it's our annual test for effluent at the sewer plant. And pretty much, basically, it's just checking the water that goes into the river to make sure it's safe for the aquatic animals that's in the water in the past. So, is there any questions?
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the street department, I want to point out a couple of things. We've got sweeper back out there running around, everybody's probably seen it. Keep in mind that the sweeper will sweep within the route of the trash day. So if it's your Monday trash day, the sweeper will be in your area somewhere on Mondays. They won't be able to sweep the whole route, but it's like on Friday, he was over in East Connersville and he got a lot of East Connersville knocked out. So over a 2 or 3 week or a month period, you'll see the sweeper in your area. He picked up 12 ton of debris in the month of April, so that just tells you how much stuff we're getting swept off the street with that thing, so I like that. Also, we've been picking up large items for a month or so. We picked up about 7 ton in April of couches, mattresses, etc. And the yard waste pickup is starting to get fired up pretty good. Keep in mind on when that if you call the street department and wait for the prompt, you can place an order for them to come and pick up your yard waste or pick up 1 item of heavy trash. So, the only other thing on here I want to brag about is remind all of our people, most of our people were out on Earth Day picking up trash, and they picked up 400 pounds of trash off the streets and stuff, and they did a real good job. They were happy to do it, so it was nice. And on the transfer station report, if you take a look at that, 900 tons went to the landfill in April. About half of that stuff people bring down there, and about half of that stuff that the trash truck picks up. So I also, there was something else I wanted to tell you about. I'm going to give a report tonight. There's a new rental and utility bill assistant program that we're participating in. It's through the COVID money and the ARP money, and it helps people pay water bills that they can't pay because they've been off work. And I'll give a little report on that tonight. John's going to put up a graphic that will show the website that you go to sign up for it. If you're a landlord or a tenant, you can qualify for it. So we'll try to get the word out on that, and you're going to start hearing a lot about that stuff coming up here in the future. So,
How's Ludwig doing on the lights going down Park Road?
not doing anything just yet. We've got him working on a project. We just had to move our electric service out of the street department. He's been working on that. He's also kind of working with me on this, whether or not we're going to put electric in the sidewalks downtown. And he and I have talked a couple of times that we need to get up there pretty quick and decide which lights we're going to keep, which ones need to come out, so I can get my guys working on getting the ones out that aren't staying. And this summer, over the summer, we'll get them fixed up and repaired. And again, we got a grant, or we got a donor or whatever that's going to pay for the cost of that project, so we got to keep it under 10,000.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, we went on to old business. Is there any old business? Not, we'll look for miscellaneous business. And claims.
Claims for the city was $67,798.05. Payroll, $488,178.18. Utilities was $231,524.25.
Okay, take a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, we went down to public forum. Clint, is anybody out there, sir? Nope, okay. And take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you very much.